Very much. With a look now at how the Condit Chung interview may have gotten arranged, the woman who set up the recent TV talk between Connie Chung and Jesse Jackson's ex-mistress, Karen Stanford. We're joined by media strategist Michelle Jordan. Michelle, did you have a hand in this one?
Yes, we did. In fact, we started it from the very beginning, and it was certainly not done as sort of a seat-of-the-pants idea. We had planned it quite early on.
Planned it for whom? On behalf of the Condit people or on behalf of
I'm sorry, we're talking at cross purposes. I had thought that your question referred to setting up the interview with Dr. Karen Stanford.
Right, okay. All right, well, let's be clear on that. So
yes, indeed, please.
You're not playing a role in setting up the Connie Chung-Gary Condit interview?
Absolutely not. I have no role in that at all.
All right, but if you were on Condit's side, what would you be looking to do in this situation?
Well, I think there's been a lot of speculation as to what Condit has to do. And it's amazing, really, that a number of people who are not inside his camp are making all kinds of suggestions as to how he should approach it. The only thing that I will say to that is that what the public wants to hear is the truth, and it's awfully hard to fake it. So unless he's really prepared to tell the truth, he shouldn't be doing this interview.
This is a sort of a second big get, as it's known in the business, for Connie Chung.
Yeah.
What is it about her that you liked that allowed you to set her up with the Karen Stanford interview?
Well, I've had a very high regard for Chung as a news journalist for many years. I mean, she's been around for a very long time. And really, when we looked for the right reporter to work with, there were three criteria. The first is we wanted to go with a news journalist as opposed to really someone who might take more of a celebrity approach to this interview. Second, we wanted a journalist who we really felt would ask the tough questions, because the intent was to give Dr. Stanford an opportunity to respond to them. And the third reason was really Chung's professionalism, and from the very first part of the engagement, her personal style, and also actually that of her staff as well, made it a very easy process to go through.
We know that this interview is going to be 30 minutes with no editing. Who gets the advantage in that situation, Chung or Condit?
You know, that's a very, very interesting point, and I think you can play that either way. I think the burden on Chung is very much to ensure that she gets to the grittier questions quite early on. Because it may be that Condit will decide to string out the easier questions, if you like, simply as a device to use up the time. I thought it was an interesting strategy, in fact.
What other ground rules might be set?
You know, I can't address the ground rules that might have been set. What I will tell you is, in the case of the Stanford interview, there really were none. In our case, we wanted Chung to ask all of the questions that she felt were appropriate, because we wanted Stanford to have an opportunity to address them. The only two things I did ask was that, one, the question should be asked in an appropriate and a dignified manner, and two, that there should be no shots taken of the outside of Dr. Stanford's house. But that was basically it.
All right, Michelle Jordan, media strategist. Thanks very much, Michelle, for being with us today.
Thank you, John.